Thanks, Fred. How's everyone doing? This is actually a special match. The rest of the randomizer tournament won't actually kick off until tomorrow, but this is one of those rare instances where we have a European player participating in the race. So with Vonkie being over there and it being a little more difficult, they asked if they could stream today, and we got one together. So we are actually going to be getting underway. The timer is now going, and we'll be starting in a couple seconds. So once again, we have Vonkie and Aweglib going up against each other, and we'll let you know what's going on as it happens, of course.
And so our two racers right now are both taking slightly different paths to get through, and they've already discovered level 9. I've got them in case for sync purposes, just about at 30 seconds right now for Vonkie. So, okay. So I'm slightly behind, which will work out perfectly because when I say stuff, then I'll be reacting to what they say. Okay, so our racers. First thing that they're looking for those of you who haven't really seen randomizer races too much, is trying to find wood sword or some form of weapon. Both are actually following very similar paths right now in the early going because they're trying to find open caves. You're guaranteed the sword's going to be in an open cave, so they want to go there to try to find things. And as it is right now, they can find things anywhere. Vonkie has just found a level. Looking on the shape of the level, I would presume it's probably level 1, and he's attempting to clip into the staircase there. And it looks like Aweglib's just trying to wander his way to get over the bridge. I don't know if Aweglib has played it a ton, so he might not be as familiar with clipping as some of our other players are, as you just saw Vonkie clip in to get the lovely raft.
And the looks of it, actually, from the positioning, and something some of the runners will use is the positioning on the black part of the map. Even though they don't have the dungeon map, it actually looks like level 8, not level 1, just because he's a little further right.
Oh, that's certainly possible. Yeah, as I said, part of what you're doing when you're trying to play here is you're trying to figure out what the best option is. And you can see Vonkie making the interesting choice. Okay, apparently I'm wrong. Aweglib does know how to do clipping, based on the fact that he just did that. So Vonkie make the interesting choice there to, instead of bombing north from that one room, to exit and take his chances with the bombs on the overworld map. So it's actually a really interesting strategy, as Aweglib now gets eaten by a pancake and is forced to continue.
Now Vonkie did find the first of 4 take any roads. Because they are randomized, there's a good chance that they will either work out to the advantage, which the first take any road sent Vonkie to the southeast, southwest, so he really quickly checked that open cave. But sometimes the positioning of them is very trolly, and you'll only have them 1 or 2 screens apart, so it really isn't much benefit. One did send Vonkie up into the Death Mountain area, so that will benefit him when he wants to return there later to probably bomb through.
Agreed. And one of the strategy things you're noticing, both the competitors here, as soon as they got sent down near to that bottom left corner, they went and poked their head into the open cave. It's a very, very long walk to get down to that corner naturally, so that any road works out really nicely for them. And what you're noticing too, among the things, in addition to hunting for the any road caves there, they're also looking for, or rather, any open caves for the sword. They're also trying to find. Oh, that's a really nice road that Aweglib just managed to find. But the other thing that they're looking for is they're trying to check those Armos statues. Typically, during the normal game, you have 4 Armos statues throughout the world that hide open staircases, and one of them hides the power bracelet. Thanks to the randomizer, the item gets moved around, so it's possible that the players may find a ladder hiding under an Armos statue, for example. So it's often very important to go try to find that. I mean, especially at this point in the game, they might find a red candle in that general area, so that ends up being very useful. Vonkie has now found another level. I'd say based on the initial shape, that one's looking like level 3. So
Indeed,
he has
it is.
no weapons still, so he's going to abort and come back later.
Now, Vonkie, right before finding level 3, also did locate where the magic sword is. The magic sword won't be attainable right now. They may check back later depending on their heart situation. A magic sword in Randomizer with these settings can cost anywhere between 10 and 14 hearts to obtain. So they won't look back until a little bit later.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, depending on their own strategy, they could see various different things happen, but it's very possible that you would actually see them maybe even wait on going back to level 3 until much, much later. Ooh. Glib was making a play for those, as I was saying, the Armo statue up north where you would normally buy the bait in any percent run, and there appeared to be nasty creatures on that screen, which ended up killing him in one shot. Looks like he's trying to go back for that. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he's on that path, or if he's going to make a different, go with a different plan here. Looks like he's starting a different path.
The raft.
And they both have the raft, so it's a good thing while they're thinking of it to check it out. Usually the raft does not give you a useful item, or it does not take you to caves, but there are 2 caves that are accessible only with the raft, so you have to at least try them because sometimes you will get a level out there.
Now, one other thing these runners will be looking for throughout their trek is a take any one you want, which gives the option normally in any percent between a potion and a heart, but there is also an option for a candle. Sometimes runners will take the candle just to allow for quicker exploration, especially since the runners are kind of light on money right now. They wouldn't actually have enough to purchase a candle.
And we did see a candle shop earlier, I believe, if I remember correctly, and it was an 80 rupee candle, which Aweglib can now afford thanks to finding a very, very large secret. Whereas Vonkie has just left another level, presumably level 4 based on its shape, and he realized he didn't have the materials to really be able to make any progress in that level, so he has aborted and is now continuing the search for some form of weapon. And it would appear that the text you saw, Vonkie, very briefly there, get the gratitude is the, since I don't remember what the official text is, but that was going to be one of the pay me rooms that you would normally get when you are exploring and cost you 20 rupees. It can cost you anywhere from 15 to 25 rupees in this case. He didn't want to pay the fee, so he has exited. You can up A, get out of the room, and not pay the fee as long as you can do it before he finishes talking. When you're working with Randomizer here, it can be very hit or miss. Some cases you get very long text. Other cases you can get LOL or single character, which is virtually impossible to up A out of in time. So both can be viable options.
Aweglib did elect to go down and buy the candle in the Southwest shop. So he now is able to burn his way through the dead woods and then over in the forest as well.
It'll be interesting to see how that ends up going because, you know, a lot of players right now would probably be focusing on searching different areas of the map, trying to find a sword. I've noticed August just mainly right now. Glib's looking for the pretty much, you know, getting information, which is great, but if you don't have, this can be a little risky because if you don't have a weapon, you're still kind of potentially screwed. They'll help him out in the later run, but right now it might slow down a little bit, especially if he starts trying to explore levels with the candle, which is, again, one of those big risks. Vonkie is gambling, it looks like. Vonkie is, in fact, trying to work the money-making game. He is trying, I think, to get himself enough rupees to be able to go and buy that candle that we've been talking about here. So he's basically just entering and re-exiting that cave, trying to get and retrying anytime he fails.
Really only a viable strategy when you have one very close to start like he does. Otherwise, you'd be wasting a ton of time. But doing so may help him, especially if we see some levels underneath some of these bushes throughout the forest and elsewhere.
Glib just got sniped by a Lionel on the forest, and therefore is getting has now been sent back to start. I think he's hoping to get a couple extra bombs off of some of the enemies. It's just trying right now to take care of things. And yes, Vonkie did finally get himself up to exactly 80. So once he can get through this little area here, he can potentially get the blue candle and begin exploring as well. Glib, on the other hand, is continuing to burn the area referred to as Candle Row. The number of bushes very close to the start there, including discovering a very nice set of bombs. Most items vary plus or minus 20 rupees from their natural cost. Bombs naturally cost 20, and 7 rupees is a phenomenal price for a set of 4 bombs in this game. So that will be a cave that I can easily see the runners coming back to later on if they're low on bombs and don't want to try to farm them off enemies.
The other benefit is there's actually 2 bomb caves very close to level 9, which tends to be one of the most bomb-consuming levels out there as well.
Agreed. You're going to probably see the runners hopefully get a lot more bombs than you're seeing. Glib enter and re-exit this unknown level. There is a glitch in the game where the game thinks that you it's not going to be able to make any progress in this level, in this room, unless he uses some bombs, which it looks like he's going to try to do.
Now this will probably either be level 6 or level 7. Looks more like level 7 though.
Oh, really? I would have said 6. Yeah.
Yeah, level 6.
So we'll see what happens. Yep, that confirms 6 right there with the lack of push block in that room. So there is a glitch in the game where, depending on how you enter or exit a dungeon, the direction you entered that screen on the overworld, that you can unlock doors, and you still see the runners take advantage of that, usually if there's a door locked or unlocked. So this is definitely level 6 that Glib is walking through, which is really tough level to face, especially with the Dark Knight enemy set here, without any form of weaponry whatsoever. Might get lucky, which is why he's poking his way through, as we're actually about to see Vonkie, if he can survive the Tektites, also enter level 6.
Now, interestingly enough, both runners are choosing to trek through and try to discover what they can, instead of heading over towards the forest in the northeast, where there are a lot more open caves, and they may be able to find the wood sword.
Wow, getting a lot of levels early on here. We've got yet another level here. This one's looking more like 4. We're seeing earlier. We've seen a bunch of other options. Oh, actually, no. This is definitely 4. This is the one that right. Vonkie was in here earlier. I'm getting all my plays confused. One player to the next. So it looks like Glib's willing to explore level 4 here now that he's discovered that. Trapped by some of the poles in the process. Let's see if he's going to spend his key here or not. And he is not. He's taking that key that he got, and he's going to save it for another level when he as he proceeds to go through. So the great hunt for the sword continues. Oh, interesting. They both just discovered the hints. Vonkie was not able to afford any of the hints. Glib is choosing not to take one of the hints right now, but those hints can potentially provide you with a lot of information about, potentially provide you a lot of useful information in this set of this set of flags that are chosen for these tournament seeds. Sometimes some of the hints will be helpful hints, which will tell you where certain items are, or possibly if you're in a dungeon where one of the next dungeons is, certain hints will be completely trolly. And Glib has decided that enough is enough. He would like extra defense, and so he is very wisely at the 14-minute mark procuring a blue ring. Which means that most likely he'll find the red ring in the next 5 minutes.
It's actually not a bad strategy, too, because he does know he has one large secret left to grab for potentially needing arrows or meat.
Exactly. And there's still lots of medium secrets still available as well, so there's certainly a lot of potential gain that can happen as this is going on. Alright, Vonkie's now exploring the coast here, trying to, again, find anything that he can find that'll be useful for him. I believe this is where Glib found one of the big secrets earlier. Yes, exactly it is. So Vonkie's now rolling in the dough as Glib finishes off the forest here, hoping to still find the any key, not the any key, but trying to find a sword somewhere here.
Now, with the route Vonkie's taking, he eventually will get up into the same area Glib is at, but he will first peek to see what the coast ladder item is. That way, once he gets the ladder, he'll know whether he should come back to grab that item or not.
Absolutely, and it's a very good thing to check it really quickly. If it turns out to be very useful, definitely want to come back. If it turns out to be a waste, you can save yourself the time. This is actually one of those interesting cases of whether or not he's going to want to come back, because it turned out to be the recorder. And the recorder can be an incredibly useful tool to be able to quickly cross Hyrule as you're walking, and other times it's less so. I have not had any issues up to this point with Vonkie's stream. I know I can see a couple of people talking about it, but at least watching off live stream, I haven't had any issues up to this point. And those of you who've been observing the Glib stream have seen that he found the item that was hidden under the Armos. It was the item known to, or casually to some of our players, as scrap metal, or the inferior banana. It's the magical boomerang. It covers a further distance than the regular boomerang, but some people don't like the way that it works.
Aweglib did find the white sword, however, not finding any heart containers yet, is unable to even check for it. White sword will be between 4 and 6.
Pretty amazing that they've, the number of caves that they've covered so far, and they haven't even seen a single, take any one you want spot. But that now gives Glib a alternate place to potentially come back and check, and now if he finds a heart somewhere, he's going to have a little bit of a decision to make about whether or not he should try to come back there or continue to hunt for the wood sword.
Quite possible by the time he gets to the wood sword that he may even have enough hearts. But he did find the last large secret, so very wealthy indeed right now.
And of course, the only downside is that he's wandering around the Lost Hills area here, and he doesn't have any bombs. He's hoping to kill a blue friend there to try to get some bombs, and it would look like he has wandered himself into a level, and based on the shape, I would believe that he has unfortunately found the largest non-level 9 level in the game, level 7.
Definitely looks like level 7, which is 33 rooms of pure agony.
And apparently a lovely, friendly neighborhood dig dogger sitting right at the entrance. And so at this point you have a very difficult decision to make. He's probably going to poke through a couple of rooms, see if he can get something, as our friendly neighborhood Vonkie has found one of the hearts now. But, it's very tough to consider going through this. It's made easier by the fact that it happens to be a level set that is Gorilla based, which allows him to potentially kill things using his blue candle. But at the same time, going to be a very difficult and time-consuming task, especially trying to kill a room of 8 wall masters with a single blue candle. So Glib has decided to forego that room right now. I think he's going to try to. My guess is he's going to try to see if he can kill these 2. There we go. And he finds a heart really nicely, which is incredibly useful because, again, now he can consider, especially since we know, those of us who are, been spoiled, that if he goes south one room here, he's going to pick up another heart, and then he'll have a 2/3 chance of picking up if he can survive going down these stairs, he'll have a 2/3 chance of being able to get that magical sword if he makes the trip back there.
The blue ring definitely helped him get through there.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I forgot he had that on. I was thinking he was about to die. And so let's see what happens here. Well, we will all be able to find out now exactly how many hearts it is, because Vonkie's trying for 4 hearts, and it is 4 hearts to get the white sword, which again is less than normal. So now both competitors here very shortly will have a weapon that they can use, and it's the second strongest weapon in the game. And this will also be really useful for both Glib and for Vonkie, because they can kill some of these blue enemies here to try to identify bombs. Except that I don't think Vonkie necessarily knows his drop tables based on the order which he killed the enemies after he got the clock. If you get a clock, it turns out that the blue enemies on the overworld, the bomb dropping group, will drop bombs on 1, 6, and 8, and the clock comes out at 3. So he could potentially get the bomb 3 enemies after the clock, and he killed the 2 blue enemies first there. So minor little tactical came up. Glib picked up wooden arrows just in case there's a Goma somewhere blocking his path, and Vonkie has returned back to the start area.
It looks like he returned back to start just to actually grab the blue ring, which, if he would have actually grabbed bombs, he would have discovered he could have bought up in the northeast.
Yeah, but having a trying to farm bombs can be a tough decision on whether to hunt for bombs or go for something that and this allows him to return to the mysterious level 6 with a weapon now and potentially be able to clear some of the rooms. I don't remember if he'd explored. I think Glib was one who explored a lot. I think Vonkie had just checked 1 or 2 rooms and then up aid. So we'll be able to see what happens here. Either way, Glib has returned to the scene of the crime at level 7 to try to hopefully clear things out.
Now, luckily for Vonkie, with the enemy set he is facing, there's a lot of bomb drop potential with both the Red Dark Knights and the Gibdos.
That's true, and he got a nice little clock there to be able to handle things. I mean, you're still going to see the potential of bomb drops as well with the Red Gorillas, which seem to be plentiful typically in level 7. I'm not sure if Glib knows where he was. It almost looked like he was making a play to go back into the Dig Dogger room to consider making a bomb. But I think he knows which dungeon he is in now, and he's just now he's going to continue trying to get through here. He's a little scared, might be a little scared to use that 1 bomb that he has.
Vonkie was able to farm some bombs
very nicely.
He's forcing them and getting the random drops.
And now, since he's in level 6, one of the key things, as you play the game, play Randomizer a lot more, you realize there are certain rooms that in these dungeons you don't necessarily have to clear, because all the rooms at least stay in these flags in their original dungeons. They just get reshuffled around. So Vonkie normally wouldn't have had to clear that Gliok, the room that Gliok would normally be in. Normally no drop in that room, but he had to mainly because of the shutter doors here. But there are certain rooms, like if he finds an empty room in level 6, he will know he doesn't have to actually clear that room at all. He's hoping right now this will be a staircase that will possibly give him the item from level 6.
Now both runners right now are clearing out some of the larger dungeons in the game, which is a little unfortunate. You want to avoid having to search for items as much as possible just because there's so many rooms to clear out, but they figure it's the dungeons they have access to right now, so they might as well look.
Yeah. Glib just got the most useful thing that you can find in level 7. He found the compass. So that is going to be, the weapon you want to find if you're going to find anything in level 7, because that tells you directly where you have to go, so you don't have to necessarily navigate those 33 rooms. He's, as I said, trying to find the path now to get to where that is, and unless this requires a troll staircase, he might be checking to see if he can try to find the item quickly. Ooh, hello, Gliok.
Luckily, only 2 heads.
Yes, that's a very lucky find for Vonkie there. Vonkie's still continuing. He's got that one of the staircases there blocked by Goma. So at least you know that the bow is not in that staircase, if that's the staircase to the item. But it may just be a staircase to the other part of the level. It could be the infamous, item. So on the plus side, something not to worry too much about right now, because there's nothing he can do to fix it. But as I said, something he might have to potentially come back for. He may be Goma blocked on this level. Glib is definitely exploring level 7 here, trying to. I don't know if he's already found the heart container, so he might be hunting for additional bombs. Or again, probably the item. Vonkie's continuing to level 7. He's in the room that Goman would normally be in, so there's definitely potential of a item drop in there. He is hoping. Oh, and here we go. Looks like Glib has in fact found a staircase, and it is the item. It's the bow.
Very, very good find early on.
Agreed. I didn't see him actually get a hint saying that was there, so that ended up being an incredible hint. And in a race against more experienced randomizer racers, I feel like a lot of those racers would not be getting that bow early unless they found a hint. They would have been up-Aing back to start as soon as they picked up the compass, because you found the compass on the way to there. They would have up-A'd, gone right back to start, and gone for the item and saved the bow for near the end. So Glib is going to actually have, I think, a significant advantage here as he's going on.
Not only that, but we did see Glib pick up the arrows earlier. So when he enters a dungeon such as 6, he will have a lot easier time with the Pulse Voice now as well. Not to mention he will not be Goma blocked.
Well, I think Glib's running into an issue here of not necessarily knowing the dungeon shape that well. He just tried to bomb south into a room that doesn't exist in level 7. So I think what his best play is going to be is doing what he's doing just about now, is up-Aing back to start and trying to bomb left or bomb right from the 2 rooms north of start there, and hope that he doesn't have to kill the Dig Dogger in order to get through to the Triforce. It looks like he's either going to need a ladder or he's going to have to bomb that one room. So it is either ladder, or Dig Dogger, or bomb blocked to Triforce.
Vonkie decided to leave 6. Couldn't progress any further without the ladder, so he will have to find either the ladder or grab the bow out of 7 and come back and hope that the single block room that Goma was in will lead him further into the level.
It's really tough because there's certain dungeons, again, especially with these set of flags, that are really tough to navigate, because levels 4 through 7 have a pretty decent chance of having a ladder block somewhere. So it can be really tough to explore those levels properly. It's basically going to be tough to get what you need out of those levels just due to the ladder blocks. Vonkie's back in 4. He is forced to clear a room. Fortunately, level 4, there are only 2 rooms that you have to clear to get a drop, but he was stuck in a room that had a shutter door, so he had to clear it as well. He's
finally finding the wood sword at level 5. Does not need it at all, so just up an A's.
Yep. This will be as I say, that's right, he I'd missed that, but yes. So he's in good shape. Actually, Vonkie never actually explored the 4th any road, so he'll be heading up there at some point, I think, once things go. And hello, Triforce.
Now, with 4 being slightly smaller, he will elect to look, but finds quickly that he's ladder blocked, so grab the Triforce and run.
Yeah. If you look at the rooms that are in level 4, there are there are basically 3 water rooms that would normally impede runners. You have the room that you normally get into as you're going through level 4, which has a river across the top that prevents you from getting to the top door. You have the quote-unquote Chevy room that we just saw Vonkie enter into and then leave, which, the middle island tends to look like a Chevy, hence the reason the Chevy logo, hence the reason it's called the Chevy room. But that room is completely blocked, and then you've got the T room where the bottom is blocked from the other 3 sides. And because of those 3 rooms, getting through level 4 can be incredibly tough without a ladder. So it's definitely a play that Vonkie's going to have to take here. He knows the item in there is not the ladder, and so now he'll just have to decide if he wants to come back there or not. We already know that he won't need to come back there for the bow specifically, but we don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the run here. And as a safety measure here, since he had a lot of money anyway, Glib purchases the bait. There's going to be one old man room somewhere in the game. Normally it would be in level 7, but it's been shuffled in these flags. Could show up in any level in the game. And if so, it's possible he will block the way to the, through the room to the top. Having the bait will guarantee that he can get through there. So Vonkie looks like he's heading back over to level 3 now. I don't believe he was key blocked. I think he was weapon blocked at the time, but level 3 can be dangerous without a key, so we're gonna have to see what happens here. He should be safe for most of his exploration. The one room I was concerned about was a shutter room, not a key room, so he should be decently safe. And he's got a really nice enemy set in here, so it's just a Gorilla set. Again, for those of you who haven't seen it, there's 3 possible sets. You can have sets with Gorillas, you can have sets with Dark Nuts, and you can have sets with Wizrobes. And, well, I just listed them in order from easiest to hardest. You are hoping you don't get a lot of Wizrobe sets typically.
Vonkie finding 2 key drops. In level 3, really, if you can get to the first intersection room and also have the shoot room, the horizontal shoot room there, not have any necessary keys when you're low on keys, that's always something that you want to see because it allows for a lot of easier exploration. Levels
1 through 3, pretty much, you will almost never run into a blockade. Almost every room connects to another one. It starts in level 4 where you start getting walls that can't be bombed. You'll see it in Randomizer in level 3 sometimes. If you do ever find a wall that cannot be bombed in level 3, it means that the other side of that wall is the item room that's in level 3. So it's, again, very useful to try bombing the walls because it will help identify where the item is for you.
The only other instance of that would be a north and south bomb. If you cannot bomb south, you will know that the old man is on the other side.
Correct. Good catch. All right, and Glib is coming back now to level 1, which is a Wizrobe dungeon, but he will be able to hopefully get through this now, especially now he has bombs and a weapon. Actually, no, that can't be level 1. It's level 8. You're right. I completely blanked on that. That diagonal room's not in 1. So yes, this is level 8 with Wizrobes, which still has 2 items in it, so definitely a worthwhile thing to explore. And the fact that he's got blue ring will definitely help him in trying to do the exploration. I think the only question will be is whether or not he's identified properly what level this is.
I believe he has it marked as level 1 right now. So also, if you notice on Vonkie's screen, he has a completely glitched screen. This is a common error or a common glitch associated with the grave. If there's a level at the grave in Randomizer and you enter on the same exact frame as the staircase loads, you will enter a glitched dungeon.
There. Oh gosh, no, he's not. That was painful for Glib there. That's going to be a very tough Triforce to obtain when he does finally get there. Vonkie, what Vonkie will have to do here, probably the best thing to do will be at some point when it's to save and quit and reset the emulator. And then that will re-enable him to get the will fix the graphics for him. So that way he doesn't have flying old women around trying to stop him. And those of you just saw the level 3, and as you can see, he just reset the thing to take that. And you can see the hint right there. Oh, and that works out great amazingly great for Glib. He was able to skip the staircase completely, walk right over, and get the Triforce. So he now has his first Triforce from level 8, and he will be able to keep going from there. And Glib's going back in. Interesting. He'll try to find the second item here, which is, again, not necessarily a bad decision. He still needs that ladder. They've had their ladder issues up to this point, so he's going to need that ladder in order to potentially progress on some things. Although I don't know if we've necessarily seen a true. Oh, that's right. I was going to say Vonkie ended up proving that in 6. Oh, he didn't necessarily prove it was a ladder block. Possible that Goma, so he may be bow or ladder blocked. We're not sure.
Did find the heart in 8.
Oh, interesting. So that hint there that we just saw Vonkie get implies that the book is actually Goma blocked. So you'll actually need to kill a Goma in order to obtain the books, which, again, for those of us who have the knowledge of watching both streams, indicates that possible level 6 has the book in it, and that's under that Goma. It may also be somewhere else, we're not sure, but either way, the book itself is actually Goma blocked. If you were going to try to complete this game 100%, you would have to get that.
Vonkie re-entering 8 as well right now.
Again, based on what you saw when you first walked in, you would have probably made the assumption that it was 1, but you were right. The location of where you actually start was a bit further to the right than you would, because it's the far corner. Of course, the bubbles seem to absolutely love trying to hang out with Princess Zelda there. And Glib gets stuck in here with some land mollas. So on the plus side, at least one of those 2 land mollas crossed the river, so he won't have to worry about that one hugging him. But a hug from a land molla costs normally 2 hearts. Glib with the blue ring means he'll only still cost 1 heart. And Vonkie is... Ooh. Vonkie's trying to see if he can get to the staircase, and actually does with surprisingly little damage. Of course, only to find out that it's the transportation staircase. And he's probably not very happy about that. Again, the runners have several items they're still looking for, hence the reason they're going through this dungeon, even though they both have already found where the Triforce is. They'd love to ideally they would really like to find things like the heart container as well. But the main thing that they're looking for, I feel like right now too, is things like the ladder. Optimally for the both of them with their key situations, the magical key, often referred to in our land as the any key, as a reference to Homer Simpson. But again, they're typically trying to find the rest of those items that would really help them beat the rest of the game. It's gonna be a little tough here for a couple of them, especially in this case with Glib having a half heart there and now 0 hearts. Madness continues. Glib is still going back in to fight things. Vonkie has gotten the 1 item out of here. They got that at the very beginning of the game. They both got the raft out of here. He's looking right now to try to get the second item, whatever that ends up being. And we've actually seen with the fact that we've seen as play has been going on here, and of course, I apologize. I just completely lost my train of thought, so I guess we haven't really seen it then. So we'll pretend I didn't say anything. Vonkie once again finds the Chevy room. discovering that he can't make any progress there, and he has to use another key. Again, Vonkie's key situation is a little bit low. It's going to be kind of tough for him, as Glib here is kind of in a dangerous scenario with the land moles, because again they will take away a full heart each. But he has managed to successfully clear the room and head towards the final part of the dungeon, and discovers the staircase that he needs in order to get the item. And it was a very worthwhile play for him, it looks like.
Very good find. Once again, just as level 7 with the bow, this is a level that some runners would choose just to ignore the second item and come back later if need be. So that's a really good find for him.
Yeah. I think Glib right now is in an incredibly advantageous position. I mean, I think Vonkie is still exploring level 8, so I believe he is still hunting for that second item. But the fact that he also has the bow out of 7 is a very, very powerful thing. I think it's going to give him a significant amount of significant advantage here in the early going. So, looks like Glib, I'm trying to see where he's going, where he's trying to head based on what he's explored on this map, because there's not really a lot of levels over here on the on this side. He might be heading back towards level 7, potentially, to try to get the Triforce recorder. That would make sense. I don't think we've seen necessarily a recorder block. We might have a recorder block in 7. Completely forgot about that, yes.
Now, this is one of the big things about Randomizer, is that some of it is indeed luck-based, finding stuff in the right order. In the case of Glib, he's going to have a slight advantage because he does not need to revisit 6 or 4 like Vonkie needs to. So, well, potentially needs to. So, it will save him a little bit of time because there's a little bit less backtracking for him.
Agreed, and that backtracking can be an absolutely huge component. Even a couple of minutes savings is significant, and in this case, the potential of being able to save those on 2 different levels will be really cool. And oh, why? Apparently, level I'd say based on the shape, this is almost certainly level 2, is located on the required the raft.
Glib has gotten Triforce for 8.
Yeah, Vonkie has been at level 4 and discovered that he was ladder blocked on the Triforce. But at the moment, we have not seen, and I think actually, Vonkie did not find the Triforce in 6 with what he was working with.
Glib,
clue there for the Glib.
Yeah, taking out the Dig Dogger for the Heart Container.
Which, again, if those of you who he had the potential. Oh, yuck! It's another Zero dungeon. Apparently, playing melodies at the wall does not actually break the wall down. It's definitely something I've done way too many times trying to do it. You'd like to think that you could play a song and tear these walls down, but playing We Doesn't Start the Fire does not break the wall down in level 2. And we have now, it looks like, Vonkie, I'm guessing, is now in level 1, and he has found the Power Bracelet, which is can be an incredibly useful item as well, especially with the fact that there are 4 caves blocked by the Power Bracelet. Glib has to clear most of these rooms because of the fact that the item in level 4 is not in a staircase, level 2 rather, is not in a staircase. It's actually located in a on the floor somewhere. There's no staircase in level 2, so he's clearing these rooms. He especially wants to clear rooms as well because it will save him some keys. It'll get him some keys. Level 2 has 4 keys laying about in various drop locations.
The other thing with level 2 is that there's a lot of double rooms where one room will have a drop and another one will not. So he's debating on whether to go to the key door. The key door is an old man. We know that because he couldn't bomb down earlier.
And it's actually really useful for Glib because has discovered where level 3 potentially is with the hint there. That is somewhere at the grave. I think he's marked it on his map as a specifically at the grave. He might be just marking that just to maybe he's put it together with the fact that he got a feat of strength being required as one of the hints. It's possible, but either way, now he knows approximately where the where level 3 actually is. Gives him a target to go towards in the future here. Vonkie's continuing his exploration of level 1, which is really nice because it gives him a few extra keys and gives him a very, very useful item laying on the floor. Level 4 has 2 items laying, one on the floor, one underneath the staircase, and finding those items can be really useful. So Vonkie was able to obtain these silver arrows on the floor in level 1, and so therefore now has the 2 items out of there. And I don't know if he actually got the heart or not, but even if he did, he's at this point declaring enough is enough and pushing towards getting the Triforce and getting out of dodge.
He did receive the heart from one.
Oh, even better.
Collected
yeah.
he needed.
So level 1 was at the Armos. I had missed that. So that was a level both of them had made a play for and hadn't necessarily found. I mean, Glib's actually in really good shape, and because of the fact that he does have the wooden arrows, the silver arrows will be even better for him if he gets them, but at the very least he won't be blocked by any Pole's Voice or anything. Gomas, he can potentially get through them, but if he finds level 1, he will definitely be in much better shape. Just clearing out another room. There's certain rooms you don't have to necessarily clear out in level 2, and Glib. That's part of the reason Glib skipped that one room that he just did there. He didn't want to have to kill a room involving the. Sorry, apparently I'm getting just distracted here, but he didn't want to have to clear a room with. Did he just get the item in there, or he was right on top of where the item was found? Nope, never mind. He found the item. I don't have to ask whether or not he found the item now.
Really good find in level 2. Really out for the unnecessary items. Red Ring is by far the best one you can find, especially before you head into level 9. Makes tracking through level 9 a lot easier.
Completely agreed. It's a incredible item. Makes life again 1,000 times easier, especially in a Wizrobe dungeon here where he's had to kill some of them, and that'll definitely help him in level 9. Vonkie is continuing to explore the Death Mountain area right now, which is an area that's always interesting as to when you actually want to make a play to check that area out, because it's got a lot of caves, but they're all bomb blocked. So you have to make sure you can't really commit to that area until you have sufficient resources to be able to take out a number of caves in one pass. So Vonkie is, again, made the clear out in the top left corner there. Was able to pick up at least 1 heart out of the process. He's not sure if he's necessarily he didn't get any dungeons out of it, but that heart may be extremely valuable, especially with the fact that he does know where the magical sword is, so he can potentially make a try at it later on, maybe before he goes into level 9.
Now, in terms of what we know as viewers, we do know that the only dungeon we have yet to find is level 5. Death Mountain's always a good case for finding a dungeon when you clear out most of it, but we'll be checking other areas as well, such as this power bracelet spot.
Actually, we are getting pretty close to the end in terms of the number of caves that need to be explored between the 2 racers here. There's still a couple spots like around where level 9 normally would be, for example, but otherwise we've got almost all the map explored, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there still is a possibility, still small, but the possibility that level 5 there is going to be either under a power bracelet, or that level 5 could be even under the lake. which would mean more completely random items in play, or more completely items required.
Glib just went back into 7 to pick up the Triforce out of there. We found the way, at least that he got there, it was a ladder block.
Right, there's a chance that it may not. There may have been other ways. I didn't think he had bombed in the room that had the ropes, for example, but it's possible that that was there and that he did bomb that and we missed that. Either way, we've got, as I said, he's got that Triforce now. It's in good shape, regardless of which, because the recorder is on a where the heart container normally is. It requires the ladder to get to it. The ladder was likely required in order to, get to progress through that dungeon as well.
A choose anyone you want was actually under the lake, so good
That would
choice.
explain why we haven't
there.
seen that many hearts for them yet. Vonkie's actually doing incredibly well. He has already four hearts from dungeons. He found the item heart that was located in level 3, and on top of that, he also has located another item here. Actually, I'm trying to remember that hint that said Feat of Strength is required. Was that one for the? Did that say heart container, or was that a different item?
It was the heart container, which was
okay. Okay, just wanted to confirm that because I was just suddenly having that momentary panic of could there be 2 items under the 2 dungeons under push blocks. Certainly can happen, but as I said, it's one of those things that was making me wonder.
Glib is heading to level 3 right now.
Yeah, and we will not have any other items or dungeons under Funky places because we now have located level 5 on Vonkie's side.
Level 5 located where level 9 normally is. Area of the map that is kind of looked over just because it is out of the way. Many runners want to avoid going up there until a little bit later.
Depends, actually. For me, it depends on the bomb count. There are times where I'll make the play up there if I have a couple of bombs and a couple of hearts and I know I want to up A. So oftentimes what I'll do is when I check out the power bracelet slot, I'll make the decision based on the number of bombs I have as to which side I'm going to go. Vonkie has found the Triforce, but has decided that he wants to try to find the item in here. He is still looking for the bow. We know where that is, but again, Vonkie does not know where that is, so that will definitely be something. You could definitely find some very useful items in here. Glib eschewed the compass because he had just discovered, of course, the standard way that randomizers tend to work. He discovered the Triforce, the room right before the compass. And so we've seen a large number of the items up to this point. There's still a couple of items that we're missing, and we might see in level 5 here. I mean, the great one from the ones that we know are left for the case of Vonkie especially would be magical key. That would be probably the best item that he could find here in level 5. There's a chance of it here because he's found one of the staircases. Man, that prognosticating power. I swear to all of you, I did not actually look this seed up. I could have, but I did consider looking up the seed to see where everything was beforehand, but I actually am watching this completely blind, just like the rest of you guys are, and just got lucky. Well, it will be interesting to see how that plays out then, because Glib has a decent number of keys, probably wouldn't be in bad shape, and he has the bow and silver arrows. When he finds one, will be easily obtained. Most runners will full clear one looking for items, so the chance of him finding the silver arrows is going to be incredibly high. So he gets to 1 before 5. He may not actually look for the item in 5. He may take that early Triforce and run.
Now, just based off of everything we know, it is looking more and more like the book will be located in 6 because of the hint we got earlier about the arrow being required. that means that between level 4 and level 9, we still have the banana, the red candle, and the wand still in play.
So basically, at this point, again, they're not really. They shouldn't be at that point with that knowledge. We're going to assume that they're not going to want to take any the items that are left. So in theory, once Glib finds silver arrows, in theory he could potentially just stop looking. I mean, he already has Recorder. He'll have Power Bracelet when he enters 1, and he'll have Wrath. So he won't need. He will know that there's nothing that he strictly needs to get through. And now Glib also has 10 hearts now, which means that he's at least in the early potential phases of being able to pick up the magical sword. So, again, for some players, killing Ganon in 16 hits or even 8 hits for the white sword can be tough. So, getting the magical sword to cut that down to 4 hits, and more importantly, cut down significantly the number of hits that you have to deal to a set of Wiz Robes in level 9 can be absolutely huge. So they're still gonna. I think both these players here are going to be keeping their eye out for hearts potentially, so that way they can try it, and then making a play for magical sword probably before they go to level 9. Glib has just picked up the Triforce from level 3, which now puts him at 4 of the basically half of the Triforces completed here. Vonkie has 5 Triforces, so he is in the lead on the Triforce count. He just still there's a heart container under a Power Bracelet. So the Power Bracelet and Recorder are very useful for getting those extra hearts, but apparently not for finding any of the dungeons. Glib has confirmed that 10 hearts is insufficient to get the magical sword, but if he does decide to come back to this general area later on, since he has a Recorder, he could Recorder back to level 3 pretty much any time that he wants to try to get to the to try the magical sword again. Magical sword again can be anywhere from 10 to 14 hearts, so he does have to essentially do some gambling if he does want to come back to it. He's going to cost some time to potentially save time.
Now, depending on the route that he does take to cover Death Mountain, he will come across another one of those hearts because he is still looking for level 5 and level 1.
That's right. So Vonkie's checking out the rest of the Power Bracelet slots. He's seen 6. We know that let's see, 6 was
Still searching
there.
for 2.
He's searching for 2. That's right. So yeah, he is still checking this general area out. I don't think he had bombs when he was up here earlier, so he's bombing all the areas over here. Presumably, he would make a play then for the raft, but he may also instead do the screen scroll and try 5 in the waterfall and white sword and skip the raft slot entirely, which could end up costing him a bunch of time. We'll have to see.
And indeed, Glib decided to go to the left, the northeast, so he will find that heart container.
Vonkie, it looks like he is making the play now for to head over to level 2. So that will be an incredibly good move on his part. He may also grab the Recorder. He's going for the Recorder first, I think. Actually, no, he's going to try for level 2 first because he doesn't know what he doesn't know what he's going to find up here. And now he's found the level. He's going to be quite happy. He's going to have an easier time exploring this level than Glib did, merely because of the fact that he has the end. Not necessarily concerned about this. He's still gonna have to crisscross his way all the way up to the top to get the Triforce, and we have found out that that's where the red ring was, right up there near the top. He will not miss the red ring based on where it is. I think Glib missed the ended up missing one of the areas there because he ran out of bombs and ended up misplacing the bomb. So that won't. In this case, we know from our experience that it won't cost him because we know what's there. But it's gonna take him a little bit of time to go try to find himself a bomb shot potentially to cure.
Now, it is important to note that Vonkie is not going to be getting the heart container out of 2 right now just because he did not have the recorder with him, so he could not kill the Dig Dogger.
That's a good point. So we'll be interested to see that you often see a significant strategy switch. It's not going to be as apparent here in level 2, but the fact that Vonkie does not have the any key means that he only needs to pick up the Triforce and the heart container from dungeons. Almost everything else is going to be semi-irrelevant, so it's going to be a much faster play for him in some of these dungeons to get through.
Just noticed as well, Vonkie did purchase a magical shield which allows him to reflect the beams from Wizrobes.
Nice. And Glib has in fact found level 1 here, so he's going to try to push the block. Hopefully at this point, based on the shape, he'll be aware that this is actually level 1, and he'll get the 2 items. He'll get the silver arrows, and as I said, at this point, he may not go into level 5 to get anything past the Triforce there because it was a quick Triforce to get. We're at just about the 1 hour mark here. We've got Vonkie's running into the same issue that Glib ran into when he came into this dungeon. He's using up all of his bombs to try to kill the Wizrobes. And of course, that was the no drop room, but he didn't know that was going to happen. So now, Glib does in fact have now the power bracelet. Turns out, again, for him won't be needed, but again, always a useful thing to grab. And he's ideally would love to get some bombs from the other friends in this dungeon. Now he knows where the Triforce is, so now all he has to do is finish the exploration to go get the silver, in this case, to get whatever item it is. Again, the silver arrow is what it'll turn out to be.
Now, this is one area where Randomizer can be a little bit deceptive of who's exactly in the lead. Vonkie does indeed know where all the levels are, and Glib still has to find level 5 yet. However, Vonkie does not have the bow, which is a critical item considering you need it to kill Ganon.
Agreed. Up, and there we go. We have found that the bait will be completely unnecessary this game. We'd seen that earlier on Vonkie's stream, I believe, but now we've seen the proof of that on Glib's side as well. I really need to make him more required. For those of you who don't know, I am the person who wrote Randomizer, so I'm always looking for interesting ideas to add in, and contemplated locking the door behind you when you enter Grumble's rooms. That way you have to feed him bait if you want to get through. Well, that might be a little too evil. I haven't decided yet. So Vonkie is now making his way back to towards the level 7-ish area. Now having 11 hearts, a white sword, will be able to do a lot more exploration. As we discovered earlier, there's a quick and easy Triforce in here, especially if he finds the compass. And again, he will find the compass in most likelihood on the way to the Triforce, on the way to the bow. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts when he discovers this. This late stage of the game may, considering the fact that he's gotten the items out of 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, he may actually try to explore 7 here. It'll be an interesting debate to see for sure.
Glib finally coming across his silver arrows, so he's happy to see that. We'll up back down to the Triforce.
And Vonkie's entering an area Vonkie's an area we didn't see Glib take during his trial here in level 7. He's going to actually end up. This will be a actual staircase. They'll take him from one side to the other. He is electing at the moment not to take the stairs, hoping that he will be able to find what he needs over here. Glib at this point is down to 4, 5, and 6. Left to get those 3 Triforces. He knows where 6 and 4 are. He's going to have to go find 5 at some point.
Now, as we stated before, Glib does know he doesn't actually need any more of the items, so he can just choose to grab Triforces and run to try to get to level 9 as soon as possible.
But again, it'll be interesting because he has 5 keys, which can be more than enough in level 9. It can turn out to be nowhere near enough for level 9. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out here. Glib's trying to fill up on bombs really quickly, and then I'm presuming at this point he'll probably hit 6 first, then 4. But he has a recorder, so he could possibly go in any direction here. Not sure if Glib knows the mechanics of the... Okay, yes he does, because he's now doing a double blow. Is he going to make another play, looks like, for the magical sword? Or he's probably just having to head up to Death Mountain. I don't know if he's necessarily comfortable screen scrolling, so there's really not a great place that he's beaten that would allow him access back to Death Mountain here. No, he's trying for the magical sword.
He probably will go up and check the rest of Death Mountain after this, but since he's here, might as well check it.
Agreed.
And it is 11 hearts.
Oh, awesome. Wow. It gives him another advantage here. Vonkie's going to actually go check the Triforce room right now because he doesn't want to forget that one room and have that room turn out to be the Triforce. So he will be pleasantly surprised when he comes in here and clears this room. And again, we'll see what his decision is, because that's actually going to be a really interesting. He is going to explore level 7. Awesome.
Good decision.
Again, there are many people. There are many people out there who would gamble that was not required, and so again, we'll have to see what happens here. We'll see how quickly. Again, level 7 can be a big maze, so the fact that he's not getting that will turn out to be. It'll be interesting to see if he quickly finds the path to that one room again. I don't even think there were many paths into the room. I think it was only like 1 or 2 possible paths into that room. Glib now has the letter, so can go purchase a safety potion before entering level 9 if needed. And realized he was on the wrong screen there. Where he did bomb there is a location on Second Quest map, so you'll sometimes see people who are playing Second or Mixed Quest, hunting for those locations, and that spot would have a spot on it. And there we go. Our Vonkie has discovered the magical staircase that leads to the bow. So now it is a race.
Glib's next discovery will be level 5, and then also he will have to clear after that is 6 and 4. Vonkie, after grabbing the Triforce in 7, will head back to 6.
At this point, Vonkie's actually, if you're trying to analyze things, Vonkie has taken essentially a slight lead with the fact that he now has that he now has that 7th Triforce, and again, they're pretty much on equal footing. If anything, Vonkie does have the slight lead right now with the fact that he has the magical key. So that will significantly help his exploration in 9. Again, we'll see what happens here with Glib, because Glib will probably discover the Triforce here momentarily.
Now, it will be interesting to see if Vonkie chooses to go back and try for the magic sword. We know that he has enough hearts. However, he is comfortable with fighting Ganon with White Sword.
Right. And Glib has chosen to take the Triforce in 5 and run. So, again, we don't know necessarily whether or not that's going to come back to bite him or not. With the key count he has, he does have 6 keys, so it's not too bad, I think. But we're going to have to see what happens here. Warping to level 8 now to try to get himself up towards level 6. And presumably we're seeing Vonkie when he figures out where he is on the whistle there. He's going to warp to level 4. He's taken the Triforce out of there already, and then he can go back into 6 and finish the exploration.
Originally, I thought he was going to do that, and then he decided to go to 3. So, good choice to go get the White Sword, just to have it ready to go.
Oh yeah. So now Vonkie's gonna have to clear some of this out. The room that he's in right now, the one that almost looks like a 5 on a die, never actually need to clear those rooms. If there is ever a drop in the room, I think the only level where that drop occurs is in level 1. It will be directly out on the floor. Similarly, in the room that normally holds 6 traps, you're guaranteed you'll never need to actually clear that room. Is Vonkie playing with no select swap? Almost looks like, because I keep seeing him pause to switch items. So he might not be actually playing with the select swap on.
I do believe he has select swap on. What he may be doing is selecting items when he pauses as he goes to mark things on this map.
That's true. That's certainly possible. That's something I'll use on a regular basis too. And the fact that they're coming in here with Magical Sword really makes this level better, especially with all these blue dark nuts here. And it's helping Glib out considerably because Glib can get Glib's picking up keys while he's going. Now that decision to skip the any key is much safer because of the fact that he hasn't because he's got the extra keys now. Ooh. It's an interesting discovery there. Now that you have the ladder, and that's a really strong bomb upgrade there too. Bomb upgrade there, for those who didn't see it, was gave 6 additional bombs for the cost, so it ended up basically upping the maximum upgrade count to 14 bombs.
Glib finding the heart, so having that little extra insurance.
Oh, and Glib has found the compass, which is going to really help him out because Vonkie's, I think, essentially making this journey blind to find the room that has the key in it. And although this probably means Glib probably won't actually get the bomb upgrade because he'll probably just take things around. Oh. Goma was actually blocking the staircase there. And again, this is another room. Glib doesn't actually have to clear that room in order to beat it. And now he knows he can just he'll grab this key, take the Triforce, and get out again after clearing out a few keys. So he'll be in good shape here. And he still has to beat level 4, but the level, as we've seen, the Triforce in 4 is actually a pretty easy one to get, and especially if he's going to be skipping, the item in 4, then he'll be able to get this in about 7 rooms or so.
Vonkie very close to the Triforce over there, so we'll probably see them entering 9 within a minute of each other. So this is going to be very intense towards the end.
Again, this is a case of where knowing the game a little bit better would end up having served Glib slightly better in that room, just because you don't need to clear some of these rooms here in 4. There are actually only 2 rooms that you have to actually clear in level 4, again, for the drops. We mentioned it earlier, but the empty room, completely empty room, and the room that normally holds Gliok. Those are the only 2 rooms you actually have to clear. And so Vonkie is entering level 9. We'll have to see what happens here as to where Ganon is. Again, I have not actually checked this seed, so I actually don't know where Ganon is. We are all exploring this blind together, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things you are going to be that they're going to be listening for, the players are going to be listening for, is they're going to be listening for Ganon's roar. When you're in level 9 on these seeds, you have to kill Ganon. You have to get and you have to save Zelda. Zelda will be locked behind her room until you get the Triforce of Power away from Ganon. So you will hear Ganon's roar in any room adjacent to Ganon, so you can potentially hear him. You're going to notice Vonkie exit and probably re-enter the Patra room. Patra's sound masks the sound of Ganon. So you'll often see players, if they clear a room, potentially re-entering that room just to try to determine if Ganon happens to be adjacent to there. But again, that's your clue on how to find Ganon, is the fact that you'll hear the roaring sound adjacent to him. For Zelda, her door will be locked. And as we just saw right there, if you notice, if you've killed all the enemies in a room, or rather, then the door will open. You can't have a shutter door normally in an old man room. So actually, Vonkie has now located Zelda.
Glib picked up a potion before heading into 9, and he will be making his way. He chooses to go left, so he will not get the information that Vonkie did of Zelda's location as easily.
We'll have to see what happens. Remember, Glib does not have the magical key, so he's actually going to be key starved a little bit. He's going to be, I think, selecting his path in the path of least resistance on the key count. So we don't know exactly what he's going to be seeing as he goes, but again, this is a significant advantage. The fact that that Vonkie also knows where Zelda is also huge, and the fact that Vonkie just ended up in Ganon's room is incredibly huge. So at this point, as long as Vonkie can get a successful kill on Zelda here, it should be on Ganon. He should be able to save Link and win reasonably quickly.
Now, Ganon is in one of the more irritating rooms. He's in the NSU room, which it's very easy to inadvertently get stuck on the ladder when trying to fight him, and he can pretty much pile drive you or high roll drive you as much as he wants when you do that. But Vonkie making quick work of him and will quickly up A to go back towards Zelda, or may even choose to walk.
Yeah, one of the standard things is there is a known bug, unfortunately, in the game's engine, that if you kill Ganon, or rather if you up A while you're picked up the Triforce of Power, that you can potentially soft lock the game. So you will oftentimes see players, possibly the room. The key typically is to make sure that those other doors open and you have movement before you up A, and then you're safe to go. But Vonkie's just taking the quick path back. And again, this is a lot of the luck that comes down to Zelda Randomizer. If you happen to take that right turn in level 9, you stand a good chance of identifying where the things that you need are very quickly.
And a good game by Vonkie here, finishing with a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, 54 seconds.
Yeah, very, very respectable time. That was definitely not an easy seed to go through, and he was able to get a really strong navigation, especially level 9 there. He was able to get really fast. He got very lucky on where he was able to find things and took advantage of that. All right, we got Glib here fighting a Patra, he's still trying to identify where Zelda's going to be. He finds a key, which is incredibly useful for him, because, again, he doesn't have the any key right now, so... Again, it all comes down to the luck on the randomizer here. Glib was, early on may have had some advantage there, but just, finding those levels, sometimes finding where that last level is before someone else, finding, taking the right turn in level 9 can end up being absolutely huge. Glib is trying right now. He's, I believe, pretty close to where Ganon. I believe he's actually pretty close to where Ganon had ended up being.
I think
plus or
Ganon
minus a room or two.
2 rooms to the left of where he currently is.
So we'll have to see if the level happens to be conveniently awesome enough to allow him to be able to move in that direction or not. He's actually taking a walk the other way right now. Glib continued to clear out the rooms, I think hoping that might get a staircase somewhere in order to get closer to Ganon. Fortunately, I don't know for certain, but it's looking like unless he uses up a lot of it, unless there happens to be a bomb wall or two here, he may be in a dead-end portion of the map in the upper northeast corner. I'm not sure, Random, if he would have heard him. I don't know. Again, we don't remember exactly where Ganon was, but I think he hasn't been adjacent to Ganon's room yet based on the map that he's been keeping on Z Helper there.
Ganon was in the second L column, I think the second room from the top.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, if he was in that column, then yeah, he wouldn't have heard him yet. Glib's clearing the black room. Normally, in most dungeons, you would not clear the black room, but in level 9, you want to clear that black room. And I think Glib should be hearing
Ganon.
What's that?
We do now hear Ganon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't had the audio on for Glib, so that's a very good sign. He has a potion, so he should be in great shape for murdering the beast. So this is, Crimson was saying earlier, this is an incredibly tough room to kill Ganon in. It can certainly be done, but it's not easy, especially the times I've tried this room in a one-hit knockout type seed. It can be really tough. The best strat actually ends up typically being to basically hide in one of the corners. Basically, if you were to look at the bottom left side of that N, you'd want to basically step onto the ladder, onto the lava, and just sit there and swing your sword, and usually Ganon will end up in a spot where you can hit there. It doesn't always work, but...
Now, it is also important to note that sometimes in these spawns, Ganon will be a little skewed from where he is in his normal run in any percent run.
Yeah. Well, I found typically if you do get that first hit on him, when he goes up to the top of the room, he always moves in a pattern of moving 4 sideways, essentially 4 blocks sideways, then 4 blocks vertical, then 4 blocks sideways again, and 4 blocks vertical. So what you can do, he tends to, especially after a first hit, he will tend to basically, as the vertical part of his movement will be directly in the center of the room. So you can potentially, camp out in that center of the room and hope that Ganon will, and then usually you'll be able to get a hit in on Ganon coming down vertically. Yes, Ganon's down. We do have Glib does have the slight issue of the fact that he did not discover Zelda earlier. He does not actually know where Zelda is at this point. Which can be very hit or miss. I mean, he's able to rule out rooms as he goes, so we know Zelda can't be to the north of where he is right now. He's hoping, I think, to find the compass. If he finds the compass, then he will have he'll have a much stronger clue about where he needs to look to find Zelda.
Now, as Fred was saying before, it is very important to know the dungeons for a little bit more efficient time. Now, there is a room in level 9 with 2 statues in the middle like that will have a drop, but it is the room with 2 gray statues, not 2 red statues.
Aweglib drinking the last potion there before heading through these stairs. These stairs actually put him pretty close to where Zelda's going to be, if memory serves. I think he's got to go, and if he does it, if he happens to take the correct path, it'd be a right turn and then heading on up.
Which he does go right, so has to figure to bomb up here, which he does not.
Hey there.
Hey there, Vonkie. Congratulations on your win there.
Yeah, thank you.
Very impressive time, I have to say. You played that incredibly well.
Yeah, I was lucky at 9, that's all. I played pretty bad, in my opinion.
Now, one thing we noticed, and we were talking about it, early on, Glib actually found the bow in level 7, and we were mentioning how some runners will actually avoid the bow, avoid going through level 7. Did you make that decision based off of how many dungeons you had left to explore for an item?
Actually, no. I was calculating on the items I was missing. First of all, I always try to find 1, because there are 2 items in there, and then 8. Then clear 2 and 3, since you don't need a ladder for those, and then, based on a calculated guess, I came out on 7. It was the only spot left for me, so... And since 7 is a very big dungeon to explore, I was kinda want to do it last, so... And when I did it last, it held the bow, so... I guess it was just dumb luck.
Well, it wasn't dumb luck. I mean, again, as you said, as we think about things, you really only had, at that point, you'd explored most of 6, so you were pretty sure that wasn't going to happen, so you probably were either going to be heading to 4 or 7 for it, and again, you were already in 7, so it made sense to make the play for it. As I said, we were discussing that just because we were seeing, especially in Glib's case, for example, he did find silver arrows and sword, but he didn't have magic key, and that ended up leading to a couple of scares, I think, for his pathing in level 9. And if he'd been in 5, he might have potentially explored further, but when he discovered the Triforce there, he was able to just grab it and run.
Hello?
Yeah, I decided not to run, because I still needed a bow, and I knew it wasn't in 4 and 6, because I believe the hints I bought told me there was not a bow in there.
Oh, nice.
A boomerang and a book, if I'm correct. So that left 2, 5, and 7 for me, and well...
Yeah, at that point, you're right. And welcome, Glib. Fantastic job. Congratulations on the finish there, and the very nice PB for you, it looks like.
That is by far the best randomizer I've ever done in my life. So I'm not even upset about the loss. That was like miles ahead of anything I've ever done.
And really, for the entire race, you and Vonkie were right there with each other. It was just a matter of taking the right turn in 9. That was really the difference there, but you played an extremely well game.
Yeah, it was really awkward at the start, ending up getting blue ring and white sword first. It was really a weird start, but then kind of from there, it went really smoothly. I think the only other real hiccup I had was I went through a bit of 7 and ended up finding out I needed the ladder. Other than that, pretty much every time I went into a dungeon, I got all the way through it pretty quickly. Or at least, what I wanted to get pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's always great for efficiency, being able to do that. It really helps cut the time down. I was interested, especially with your thinking, you found 7 early on. You went in swordless for a little bit, then you left, you got the white sword, and you went back in, and you found the compass, and you saw where that was taking you. What was your logic for continuing to hunt? Is it because you wanted to get the item out of there? Were you hoping the staircase would take you to the Triforce? What was your logic?
It was a bit of both. It was kind of over in that corner, and I know a lot of times the staircase will lead there. It just kind of seems to. And then also, it was super early. I really hate leaving a dungeon early without finding the item, especially if it happened to be the ladder. So usually, if it's early on, that Triforce is kind of the last thing I try and find.
Awesome. Now, as I said, it was just one of the things that we thought was interesting, and it definitely worked out in your favor in this case, getting the bow very early. But was curious. I had been curious about that. But as I said, you ended up playing really nicely there.
Yeah, like I said, this is super definitely the best time I've ever had. I think I had up there an average time, which I'd only started doing full splits for a little while now. I'd mostly just been running a timer, but I mean, I think I mentioned it to Vonkie before we started. I was like, if I get under 2 hours, I'll be okay with it.
Well,
so to get a 125 is crazy.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I kind of lost a little bit of time trying to get the magic sword. I probably shouldn't have, because it was way out of my way, and I think I'm very capable enough to deal with ropes with a white sword now, as soon as I have a ring of some kind. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hadn't explored much of Death Mountain, so then I still had to find level 5. I think level 5 was level 5 was the last one I found. It wasn't the last one I finished. But then I went back up there to go find it, and then I happened to have enough hearts for Magic Sword at that time, so that kind of worked out in my favor. A lot of things, I think, kind of just worked out in my favor in this seed to get me the kind of time that I got.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely, too.
Then I grabbed the whistle and whistled to 3, got the magic sword, and my whistling strategy sucked because I have no idea how that thing works. So
oh yeah,
I ended up warping to a few different places, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, I usually just blow it once and be like, okay, where am I? And then how many do I need to
Exactly.
do?
That's my strategy as well. And then I finished 6th as last because I knew I needed the ladder for that one, and it was on the way to 9. So I was first I was like, maybe we need the bow to get the silver arrow from there, so I bought an arrow. But eventually the silver arrow was, I believe, in level 2 or 1.
It was in 1.
Silver arrows were in 1. The red ring was in 2.
Oh,
That's
the
right,
red
yeah.
ring was in 2. Then one question: did you ever find the wood sword?
I did. It was it's in level 5, I think. Yeah, it was first quest level 5. I found that pretty much right after getting the magic sword, and I said, oh well, okay.
It was actually 20 minutes or around 20 minutes swordless.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed with my strategy because I used the money making game in the beginning, which gave me a bit of bad luck. Took me a while to get 80 rupees for the candle.
Oh right.
And then I was hoping to find a few fast heart containers in the white sword, but that took a while. So that's also a lot of strategy I might not pick too often anymore.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky. I didn't find a lot of the door repairs until pretty late. So like finding a couple of those big secrets early, I had enough for blue ring, and like basically anytime I needed to buy an item, I had plenty of money for it. So I got pretty lucky in that respect.
Yeah, I also had the blue ring to begin with. I was like, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. If the money's there, you have to take that. You can't pass that up.
And then there was one of those information guys above level 1, old level 1. I had a couple of 200 rupees, I think, so I bought those hints. They were actually pretty useless apart from one. Thankfully, I had saved before I went there, so I got all my rupees back.
Oh yeah, yeah. I need to start utilizing the hints a little more often. I'm always a little tepid of wasting my money on them, but I think this was the kind of seed where I definitely had the money. I could have ponied up for it.
I actually never did it, but I saw G Cooper do it, and I was like, I should probably try this as well. That's how I figured out I did not need an item from 4 and 6, so I could rule out 4 and 6 for the bow, and well, 5 and 7 were left.
So say the nice thing about the hints strategically, I mean, they can be useful. They're a little potentially more trolly than average in this with the mixed hints as opposed to the helpful hints.
Yeah.
But when they do have potentially a lot of good information, and depending on where they're located, you can always take advantage of the fact that you can save right before you go into the cave, get the hints, and then retry, and you'll get your money back, and you'll still know what the hint said.
Yeah, that's the same strategy I used with the money-making game in the beginning to get the candle.
No, it's definitely an interesting strategy. We were talking about that, the fact that you were hunting, you were hunting for it that way to try to make sure that you had enough to go buy it. It worked out in the favor. I mean, it might have cost a tiny bit of time in the short run, but I think you saved a lot more.
Yeah, like I said, I did not have the wood sword yet, so I was kind of betting on getting the candle, find a few heart containers, and should I happen to run into white so that I could grab it. But that was kind of disappointing because I didn't find a lot of heart containers doing that, so.
Yes, great job to both of you. Great job to Vonkie. Vonkie, you will be advancing. You will play the winner of Zarnax against Raikou Rider in the next round there. I don't know if you have a strong feel. Do you have one of those two that you'd rather play or not play?
I'd rather not play Zarnax, but I probably will be playing him. He also, if I can spoil my predictions,
Absolutely.
well, I got him advancing to the next round. Sorry for the other guy, but
Fair enough there. And let's see here. And so the person who did not win the game between, it looks like from what I'm seeing here, Parhua against RC Drone. That'll be who you end up playing against. Playing against Glib. I think if I'm reading this properly. Oh, actually, maybe no, I'm not reading that properly. I definitely read that wrong.
No,
Apologies.
he will
I'll get
actually be
correct.
facing the. He'll be facing the person who doesn't win between Zarnax and Ryko Rider.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that ends up matching up very nicely then.
Yeah, that'll be. Have to watch that match. Yeah, I kind of said from the start, I'm like looking forward to going 0-2, but I don't know that seed kind of gave me a little glimmer of hope. Maybe we can pull a W out. But it's every seed's different. It could be a 2.5, 3 hour seed for me next time. Who knows?
You were playing that one. You were playing really well there. You're showing good flashes there. If we'd seen more of that, you might have had a higher seed in the first place when we were, putting the committee stuff together there.
Yeah, definitely.
on the bright side, at least you won't be facing Saber.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
That is a tough
My
match.
money is on Butts on the third round, and he's gonna get rage quitted out of there by Saber. But that's why we love the guy.
Oh, of course.
I do want to say to both you guys, great race. This was a great race to commentate on to kick off the randomizer tournament. So I just want to thank you guys because you both did it extremely well, and I hope that the rest of the seeds all go this way because it definitely makes it more entertaining.
Well, thanks for jumping in real quick. We kind of started talking, I don't know, it was a couple hours ago, and we kind of realized that our schedules really weren't going to line up at all as we did it kind of today. So thanks to you guys for jumping in super quick to get this match done.
Well, no problem. As I said, it was a great race to both of you. It was fantastic seeing a race where level 9 ended up being the decision maker.